faster, stronger. This is the charm of sports, also the perfect cooperation between athletes and sports equipment. Taisha has been served numerous of games and never a malfunction and complaint. Taisha highly value innovation and technology. This is why we are trusted. This is Taisha Sports.
Welcome back to day 2 of the World Championships here on the Scramble Cam, presented by Defense Soap at Track Wrestling. I'm your host, David Mirikatani. Pleased as always to be joined by the world champ, Olympic silver medalist Dennis Hall. We've been watching a lot of Greco here the last 2 days.
It's been a lot of fun.
It's been awesome. The high point for the United States has been Max Nowery. What have you thought so far about his performance?
He came to wrestle. Today he was on fire. Hopefully he can continue and just keep battling hard.
Right, and Max was at 55 kilograms, 121 pounds. He was in the round of 64, got a bye to the round of 32. Then he beat Schmidt from Germany 10-1. You know, give everybody your thoughts about that match.
That match was really good. He had a lot of off balances, had him moving in all different directions, was able to score. He had previous kind of close matches with him, so it was nice to see him take charge, and that's kind of how I knew that, hey, he's ready.
Really nice arm throw in that match as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Then he dropped a tough match to the Kazakhstan wrestler Sakansha 3-2, and I think at that point we were a little worried, like we didn't know if that was going to be a match that was going to hurt him.
We didn't know. I mean, at the weight, there were guys that possibly could beat him and knock Max out, so that was questionable, but you know, luckily he got pulled back in with the draw.
Sakansha went on to beat Azizli from Turkey, Azerbaijan, who was the number one seed, the number one guy in the world, beat him 11-5. Sort of made Nowery's loss at 3-2 look pretty good in hindsight.
And the other thing you got to remember is Max was a wrestling guy from Kazakhstan, so
yeah,
you know that could have played a little bit, and who knows.
we've all been in that corner where we thought a loss was bad, and then in hindsight it looked a little bit better than what we thought the first
Looking
time.
pretty good today.
Yeah. So that obviously pulled Max through. He wrestled Fergal from Turkey, or again, I'm sorry, Algeria, who's the number 6 wrestler in the world, and beat him 11-3.
That was a great match. He just got on a roll and was able to dominate his opponent. He ended up getting a gut wrench and a trapped arm gut wrench, and just sealed the victory.
So he now sits in one of the 2 bronze medal matches. For people unfamiliar with international wrestling, there's 4 medals, 2 third-place matches. So he's going to wrestle Azizli from Azerbaijan, who we mentioned earlier. Obviously, probably the worst draw you could get, wrestling the number 1 guy in the world for bronze.
Yeah.
Let's focus on the positive. He's wrestling for bronze. He gets to test himself against the number 1 guy in the world.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for him. For Max right now, he's got to go out there and he's got to stay as focused as he was today.
Yeah.
Earlier in the day.
Yeah, he's looked tough. We're gonna talk a little bit about the semi matches. So there's 3 weight classes held today: 67, 87, and 97, and these are Olympic weight classes. So all of these guys that we're going to talk about they've qualified their country for the Olympic Games. Again, their country.
And a lot of these guys will be the wrestlers in the Olympic Games, just because they don't do their trials the same way we do. They handpick and say, hey, you're going. See ya.
Guy. Yeah. So at 67 kilos, we have Surkov from Russia, who is the number 1 seed. He's going to wrestle the Danish wrestler Farik Bjørnhus. Those guys have been really impressive. Surkov had a tough 2-1 match in the quarterfinals, where the Danish wrestler won 6-0. He beat Dimitrov from Bulgaria, which knocked Ellis Coleman out. And then on the bottom half of the bracket, the Egyptian wrestler El Sayed had just a barn burner 9-9 match in the semi.
He was up like 7 or 9-2, and then kind of lost and fell asleep, and then came back.
Kept the crowd in.
Got the win.
And then probably the guy that we've watched the most here, Barrero, the Cuban, who has gone he went 9-0, 9-0, 11-0 over Frank Stabler, and then a very controlled match, 3-1 over Ryu from North Korea.
Olympic champ.
Right.
Barrero's on fire. He's by far the guy that's impressed me the most during today.
I think you and I are kind of rooting for Barrero because we want to see Ryu versus Stabler tomorrow in the repechage matches, right? If you're a fan, you want to see that match. Before we jump to the next weight, you had pointed this out. Of the 12 semifinalists, 11 different countries.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. To have 12 countries represented. I think Russia was the only country with 2, correct?
Yes, you called that correctly. So, at 87, the Ukraine wrestler, the number 1 seed, Beleniuk, has advanced, and he will wrestle Kudla from Germany. And Beleniuk has scored 5-1, 7-1, and 3-1 victories. Kudla has won 3-1, 3-1, 1-1. So I would think that Beleniuk's probably the favorite, but like you said, sometimes you can throw that out the window.
Yeah, it just depends on styles.
Right.
A lot of times.
The bottom half of the bracket is the Hungarian wrestler Lorenz, who's gone 9-0, 8-1, 3-1, and he's going to be wrestling Asakalov from Uzbekistan, who's gone fall 5-0, fall 4-0, so has looked pretty dominant. What are your thoughts on this weight class and these 4 guys?
They're all in. As it got closer to the semis, the scores really went down quite a bit.
Yeah.
Unlike the weight class before 67, but there are going to be some good matches. Lorenz, I like the way he's wrestling today. So.
He's looked tough, hasn't he?
Yeah.
We jump up to 97, and the second Russian to make the semis, Evloviev, has gone by 4-1, fall 9.
He's gone animal.
Yeah, and 9-0 to make the semifinals. And he'll be wrestling Kajaja from Serbia, who's gone by 9-0-5-1-2-1. These guys are probably familiar with each other just based on the geography. And then the bottom half of the bracket has the Georgian Malia, who's gone by fall 5-1, and then against the White Bear, Alexanian, the Armenian 5-0, 10-0, fall 4-3. Tell people, especially about Alexanian, what kind of guy he is to watch wrestle.
He's exciting. The other thing is he's patient. He doesn't get flustered that much as easy because he's been in the World Championships. I believe he's a 3-time world champ, so he knows how to handle pressure. He knows what it feels like to be in a pressure cooking situations.
I was just going to say, I noticed just his level of composure in a situation where a lot of people get rattled.
Yeah, and you can tell the guys that are used to the heat of the battle, they don't get rattled. And that's a huge thing when they're getting ready for the semifinals and get into the finals. So hopefully we'll get some exciting matches coming up. I'm definitely looking forward to a lot of these matches.
Most definitely. And you've mentioned this theme, but in case people, this is the first time they're joining us, how important is winning the parterre battle, especially in these matches we're going to see now?
Now the parterre will probably become more evident and determine more matches, just because when you get to that level, scoring on the feet, there's been a lot of scoring on the feet today. More than kind of surprised me how much there has been, but I think as you get tighter and you get towards the finals, people just kind of play it safer. I mean, there's no reason to take as many big chances when you're in the semis compared to, trying to get there when you got 5 matches ahead of you. So I think risks go down just a little bit. For some reason, people tighten up when it starts to mean a little bit more.
Well, a lot of these foreign countries, the amount of money, like we have the Living the Dream Fund, but the amount of money that these guys can win is life-changing.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of the athletes from certain countries, if you win a medal at the Worlds or the Olympics, it's a little bit more towards the Olympics. The Olympics will change your life, but what are they fighting for right now?
To get in the Olympics.
Get in.
Yeah.
So I think that's why you see the year before the Olympics, you just see a whole nother level. Like the 2017, 2018 World Championships are good. They're fun to watch. But 2019 is a premier World Championships because there's so much meaning and so much riding on performing well.
Well, and the other thing is that's where the compression starts to happen, right? That's where the 10 weight classes start compressing to the 6 weight classes because of the fact that these guys are qualifying their country, and in a lot of cases themselves, for the Olympic Games. So another thing I think to point out is there's going to be some strange people rooting for guys today because, the repechage is set up by only the finalists. Only the guys that lost to the finalists get to wrestle back. One of the things that you said, I thought with a lot of insight on air was, now the Americans have to qualify through other channels like the Pan Am Games, things like that. So there's one Cuban in the semi.
You always want the Cuban to do well in this tournament,
right?
No matter what.
So we
want to beat him if we wrestle him, but if we don't wrestle him, we want him to get as far as he can.
So we want the guys that beat the Cubans to make the finals, and then
pull
the Cubans to come back through and qualify the weight.
Yeah.
The reason why, guys, is that what's going to happen is if the Cubans qualify, they will not necessarily send anyone. If they do, it won't be their number 1 person to the Pan Am Games.
I believe, if I'm correct, and I believe I am, they do not send anybody. If you qualify to weight class, you can't send anybody to the Olympic qualifier Pan Ams.
At the very least, even if they sent that guy, he's not going to wrestle with the same intensity as if he's fighting for his life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's like the worst case scenario. The best case scenario is they don't send anybody at all, which has a dramatic impact on America's ability to qualify the weight. So, I think the big thing people need to know is they need to be able to watch this stuff. Really, three price ranges to do it. $29.99. They can watch the archives from yesterday and this morning, and then the next 7.5 days of the wrestling. For $49.99, they can watch everything going forward, the archives of this tournament, the archives back to January 1 of 18, and the upcoming U23s. And then really the one that you and I think is just an amazing deal is the Gold Plus package, right?
Yeah.
Normally it's $129.99, which is a steal in itself, but if we use the code
Scramble
$99.99, you get hundreds of thousands of matches.
I mean, as a coach and as a former competitor, there's no reason. I spent more money buying a video camera to tape my own matches than I would on having access to thousands of matches and thousands of techniques. So it's just common sense.
And you mentioned this will also include the Olympic trials, probably all the way up to the finals.
Yeah.
So,
No,
and that's
huge.
something you want to be able to talk to your friends about that.
You want to be able to watch them because you might not be able to travel.
Yeah, they're going to be out of Pennsylvania at State College this year. But, I mean, I just think one of the things you said, which I think was really insightful, is we all want to study technique and get better, but sometimes you frankly wonder, was this technique going to work, right? Like, is this hold going to work? Is this position going to work?
Well, if you're watching this tournament, you see what works and what doesn't work.
That's exactly
I mean,
right.
yeah, we talked about the different finishes in certain areas. You know, with Stabler, when he lifts, you know, he finishes 3 different ways on his lift all the time. So if you're a wrestler that want to wrestle Greco wrestling, you know, and you want to lift, figure it out. You got all the technique in the
There's 2 different ways to look at it tied to that, too, is that the Greco stuff, and you don't get as much of it. And if you're a freestyle fan, there's 6 straight days of that coming up. All the leg grabbing, all the finishes, all the leg
Yeah, I don't like. Just kidding.
Wrestling's wrestling. So go to trackwrestling.com, find those 3 packages, and remember the code SCRAMBLE and get your discount today. We're going to jump off here and come right back and get into these matches.
The key to success is preparation. Be strong, be disciplined, stay focused, make sacrifices. When you step to the line, be ready to wrestle. Impose your will on your opponent.
Finish.
We believe in you. You know what it takes. Keep wrestling.
Set, go! Go. Speed it forward. Go. Come on. Up. Yes. Jump. You made it. Super.
And we're back. David Mirikitani here with Dennis Hall. As we told you, you guys can see the schedule there on the first screen. It's going to be the 267-pound semifinal matches, followed by the 87 semifinal matches, and the 97 semifinal matches. I think we'll probably pick a match and do the commentary together just so there's not a lot of traffic, that's annoying you guys. I think it's probably safe to say we're going to focus on the Guerrero match